What will happen now in the corona crisis to the negotiations between the EU and the UK? That's what I want to talk about in this video. I'm Mark, greetings from Germany and welcome to my channel. The British exit in January has practically brought no changes so far. But time is short because the transition period will end in the end of the year. By then, London and Brussels must have clarified how they intend to work together in the future. Now, both sides have agreed on dates for 3 further rounds of negotiations. Despite the corona crisis, talks are expected to continue in the next week. The first round of negotiations is expected to start on April 20th, with further talks scheduled for the weeks from May 11th and June the 1st. That was announced by EU Chief Negotiator Michel Barnier and his British colleague David Frost after a video conference. Negotiations, of course, will also take place from next week via video conference. After the talks in June, they want to check what progress has been made. Great Britain is striving for a comprehensive free trade agreement with the EU, but recently, or let's better say from the start of the negotiations, some differences between the UK and the EU had emerged in the negotiations for the future relationship. There are different ideas about the subject of fishing, and a lot was still unclear in the area of justice and law enforcement. But to be honest, EU Chief Negotiator Michel Barnier was not too surprised after the first weeks of negotiations about these facts. And short after the first weeks of negotiation, Michel Barnier announced a coronavirus infection and David Frost also went into quarantine. In the end, only expert talks about possible contract texts were held. In the further rounds of negotiations, real tangible progress must now be achieved by June, according to a joint statement. The EU side obviously considers the negotiation deadline too short and indeed is pushing for an extension. And an extension is still possible until June. Scottish politician Ian Murray of the opposition Labour Party also called for an immediate extension of the transition period due to the coronavirus outbreak. He did that on Wednesday. The British government had to concentrate entirely on fighting the pandemic and there was not really time for anything else. However, the UK government still refuses to extend the negotiation period, and a spokesman recently repeated that on request. And also David Frost underlined Prime Minister Johnson's position that he had no extension at all to extend the transition phase. A contract on the future relationship, therefore, must be negotiated and ratified until December. Otherwise, there will be a disorderly separation at the turn of the year, with far-reaching consequences, especially for business and trade. And despite different claims of commentators on my channel, that would mean a hard Brexit or a no-deal Brexit. The withdrawal agreement is not a trade deal. It just takes care of the issues in Northern Ireland and some more political or practical issues, but is not going far enough to be of any real importance for the future trade, at least not for Great Britain. And without a trade deal, there are no agreements on trade and services at all. And with all the emphasis on services that the UK is not exporting that much, their big business is service. Without this trade deal, it doesn't only matter for the exports of the EU to the UK and otherwise. That won't harm the UK probably as much as the EU, but also the British services, and that is a big part of the income, won't happen in the EU anymore. If you're interested in some information what will happen to the British overseas territories in case of a hard Brexit, I put my next video here in the end screen. Click and enjoy. I'll see you there. Viel Spaß.